Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This is John. This report is for the 23rd of April, and there was what we were talking about here is the shakeout change going for slightly improved. Most of this was just the turnaround rally, short covering. We saw it on the intraday charts, and it's pretty clean and consistent now. It's already pushed through into the daily. You can see we have short interests that are almost non-existent because, well, they were forced to cover in the interim time, but even from a daily, they were already had faded off from the primary dip that took place when the bull case started being made, and then of course there was the back and forth, and the comments from the Treasury Secretary trying to soften this whole Trump Powell thing because right now Trump knows he really can't take on Powell at this particular stage. So they got to play nice for a little while, and I think the market was happy that because they feel like they got capitulation. I think it's just a delay. We're going to be back at this again, but for now, you're taking and easing, and the market loves that kind of response. And of course, they were telling everybody to sell while they were buying up all that volume, and that's what we were seeing. From the improvement where the shakeout wasn't dipping as much within the broader uh, scope of it, we ended up with almost parallel move on much higher lows. This is what I was talking about, and the 23% proved to be the perfect spot. And this sets up a potential for a pretty strong move because if you get to the 50%, still with strong MBI, magenta over yellow, then you're going to have a significant push going above that. So keep an eye on it. Of course, orange dipping below red. We're about to get a crossover of green as well. Would all be perfect alignment. It's still problematic that you don't have a complete reset of the DOC steel, but that it did go underside and back above is helpful. Just in the crossover of the power of shorts versus short-term buyers. That from a treasury standpoint, yield still uh, down there, and of course, the China thing isn't going to stop, even if they've postponed some of the things. The war is still going to continue, and the expectations everyone have are crazy. The only one to look at is this right here, oil, and it's going the wrong direction for Trump's side. This move up is a problem because it stopped the momentum they had during the whole beginning of the crisis, and you needed more time for it to really go across to keep things at bay. And so this wasn't enough to do it, and literally needed to see a further crunch in it. So that's not going to be all that helpful. Yeah, it is what it is. A lot of dynamics involved in all of these things. Euro's still ridiculously high, but hey, that's cool. They're very excited about their situation. But now that they pulled all their money out of the U.S., trying to get it back in is going to be a different issue when they have to convert it, and that's when we'll start to see a significant decline in the euro at that particular stage because the eurozone is broke, and everyone thinks America's broke, but at least America's reserve currency. So there you go. You've got the difference right there. Gold giving back some of this, and finally, I mean, it was trading at a pretty extreme rate there, and we knew that there were positive extremes that needed to be filled. But the expectations for inflation are lower for now, but we've got to see what happens with oil and how far that goes. And of course, like I said, this would be a driver for Bitcoin, particularly as we were climbing up at the MBI white, but magenta was not even giving a budge, and that's a short rally cover right there. Boom. And beautifully done as price continued to rise. And you can see that shakeout was always an improvement stage. And once we get to the positive, that's that breakout significance. And so it's always worth paying attention to that. ETH, slight improvement. Relatively speaking, it's good for ETH, but overall, comparative to Bitcoin, not so great. So there it was from the intraday. We were talking about this as we were coming up. We were getting the MBI white lead, but as I said, at these particular levels, you could stay above the 33 as well as magenta could stay above yellow for a while. And that's exactly what happened when it did cross over. We got a brief little dip, but at that particular point, you had shorts pretty much wiped out of the scenario. And even when they tried to make a move to get capture, buyers jumped right in there at the end of it, and it's been nothing but clean sailing from there. And even when the shorts made a recent attempt at the start of the morning, they're getting hammered as well, simply because magenta has made no dip below yellow at this particular stage. It's also interesting to know we finally got cyan into red at that particular moment too, right at the transition, and that's always a buy. But furthermore, this is something we talk about from a latency standpoint. NBA Shakeout Gold rising here usually is the beginning of more significant upticks, and we like to follow that one simply because it's relevant when you get the matching crossovers. So that really becomes more powerful at that particular stage. So always good to see that. Here we had it from intraday standpoint, continuing to rise, going through there. That little bit of fade that happened, but you can see here in the post market just thriving again, and that's going to be a great case for all the call buyers, and puts will get wiped out within that, and the whole game will get played over and over again throughout the next couple of days until the weekends. But all good. As always, know anything relevant, I'll put it in the Skype chat. Have a good one. Trade well.